I have undergone almost 20 plus years of trauma. When you undergo so much of trauma, it actively opens your third eye. Shuffle them.
Do you see them getting married?
And why do you want to lick where you have spit? I don't lick where I spit. The card you have pulled out is we accept poison because we feel there's no water to drink.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Celeste Evolve podcast. Today we have Rashmi from Neom Soul with us. Rashmi is an oracle card reader. She can also read your auras. She is a manifestation guru, psychic with an open third eye since she was born. And I'm super duper excited to have Rashmi on our podcast. Welcome, Rashmi.
Thank you, Tanya.
What led you to where you are right now?
Stupid never knows the person is stupid. That's how, until he's told he's a stupid, and there are things or actions he does which makes or defines his stupidity. You know, over a period of time, I knew that there is some special ability I have. My friends, my family, they used to always tell me, but, you never pay attention to those things because you're busy with life and you're busy growing up and you're doing things which you're supposed to do, the standard traditional norm. So I actually have undergone almost 20 plus years of trauma. And they say that as it is, when you undergo so much of trauma and collectively for so many years, it actively opens your third eye. I was very interestingly very tired of making the same choices. I started way back in 2007 when I was looking for answers. And, I started finding answers about those questions which were blocking me, those questions which I was looking answers for. You know how when you see something outside of you, that becomes a confirmation? So oracle cards then gave me that confirmation. As they say, when you heal, you also get healed. So those cards then started reverting back, or there was a resemblance of so many subtle messages which I was getting even when I was doing readings for family and friends. And that completely got me into understanding my life journey, my life path, and what I'm actually supposed to and born to do.
You said that you were going through 21 years of deep trauma. What was going on in your life?
I was a victim of my circumstances. I was, and when I say was, means I'm not anymore, because I was a survivor, but now I'm a warrior. So when you are a survivor and when you are in a victim mentality mode, everything around you seems dark because you forget that you are the light. And when you realize you're the light, you don't never want to step into darkness because you are the light and you can shine anywhere.
Why are children born into families that sexually assault them? Why is this happening to them? How can we heal it?
You'll be very surprised to know, Tanya, that it's we who choose our parents. It's we who choose everything. Women who come to me and I tell them, look, I feel and I understand you. And they also mention to me that they've been sexually abused or mentally abused or even emotionally abused for that matter. Now, whose fault is this? It is nobody's fault. It is just the choice the soul has made to be born into that family to learn a particular lesson.
We have an interesting session today because we have three beautiful, gorgeous girls sitting over here named Charmi Vora.
Hi, Charmi.
Twinkle Stanley.
Hi, Twinkle.
And Anisha Ajay.
Hi, Anisha.
I think one of the questions that is there in all of their lives, girls their age, is about relationships.
Wow, that's a very interesting one.
Yeah, I think it is there forever, right?
It's there for everybody.
Even my mother thinks, is it time for another marriage?
That's interesting. I have to meet her. I actually believe in the concept of marriage, but I don't believe in the concept of being prisoned.
There's so many rules, regulations, traditional expectations from people when two people are getting married. But if they are two people in a live-in relationship, then no one can tell them what to do. Do you see them getting married? Can you see those kind of things? Can you see?
Yeah, I do. Like I just mentioned off camera, something about Charmi. And, it's her laughing and her giggling was an evidence enough that probably what I'm saying is right. As a psychic, we can never do guesswork. So it's just like 0 or 100. So you either know it or you don't know it.
Is it possible for a person to completely change so much? Are you sure?
Yes. And why do you want to lick where you have spit? I don't lick where I spit, which means that once the door is closed, you're opening the door for more dirt and filth to come in. Tell me one thing I have to ask. In fact, I ask all ladies that if there was a possibility of this guy changing, why didn't he change initially when he was in that relationship?
But Rashmi, we are going through a period where transitions are happening really fast. So people can change, because I have changed so much within the last 1 year, right?
You can change the pillow cover, right? But you can't change the filling of the pillow. That remains the same. But you have to tear the pillow to do it.
I mean, so in your situation,
in my understanding for that matter, that there is something called as the intrinsic nature. I'll explain you this in terms of chakras, all right? Now, 0 to 7 is the age of your root chakra, which means that we barely remember it. And, the older you get, the more you forget, because your subconscious memory gets weakened. Now, what happens is, this is an age where, see, we've chosen our parents, but we've not chosen the way we'll be treated. That's not in our hands, right? So as a kid, what is that? When I do my sessions as well, the first question I ask them is, what is your childhood? Tell me more about your relationship with your father. Tell me more about the relationship with your mother. And most importantly, the relationship they had with each other. Because that's what you've grown up watching, right? So when you've grown up watching, suppose, example, your parents fight, your dad not agreeing with your mom. This is just an example I'm giving you. Your dad being physically abusive to your mom. That is something the child is imbibing. Why? Because the child does not have a logical reasoning or understanding for the first 10 or 11 years of his life. His or her. I'm talking about a child. All right. So because there is no logical reasoning and understanding, and we are like a wet sponge, we are like a wet clay. We become what we are shaped for or shaped at. So because of all of those circumstances, there is something which is very, very substantially deep, subconsciously embedded. And I'm not saying that the person cannot change. The intrinsic nature of that person will be the same. Like, I am a reflection of who I still was when I was growing up until about 18 years of age. Because girls, emotionally, our EQ is much stronger than a man's EQ. And because we operate from our sacral chakra and our heart chakra, both are emotional hubs. So you have to analyze and literally disintegrate as to why is it that it didn't work the first time. Also understanding, where was I wrong?
If we are thinking that, there's something wrong in this relationship, I need to cut down, get another person, the lesson is going to be the same in every relationship you get into.
No, not really. Because the thing is, what lesson have you learned in that relationship which, as a choice, you don't want to repeat in your next? Like, for example, I've been single for the last almost 6 or 7 years of my life, and I do not want to attract the same person, the same toxicity, the same, level of non-understanding and the same level of everything which I have left behind. I'm a different person, so I'm making a different choice. Now, everybody tells me that, in that case, your question is very valid. Nobody's perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for a balance in terms of what is the man in his integrity. Who is he when he is alone? What is the kind of discipline he has in his life? Is he a self-motivator? Is he someone who has a balanced yin and yang energy? There are so many factors, Tanya, which go into understanding. And the key to this, all of these factors, or the key to unlock all of these factors is nothing but your own intuition. We accept poison because we feel there's no water to drink. But my fundamental here is, just because you are thirsty and there's no water to drink, don't drink poison. Because that's anyways going to kill you. A lot of women, in fact, they go back to their exes. Well, that's a choice you've made, because what is it new that he's going to give you which he's not given you before? Be it a 2-month relationship, you don't need 2 months to analyze a person. If you listen to your intuition, which is the connection between your heart and your third eye, and also simultaneously your gut feeling. Gut feeling is different from an intuition. You want to know how? Your gut feeling is like a beggar knocking on your door. It's going to, ring the doorbell. It's going to scream. It's going to bash the door. And ultimately, if you decide not to open, it's just going to go. What I'm trying to say, your gut feeling may fizzle out. But your intuition, on the other hand, is something, it's like your own kid in a candy shop. It ain't going anywhere until you give him or her that candy. So it's going to constantly, we feel, why are we getting the same thought again and again? Well, it's not a thought. It's a feeling. Thoughts are something which is a byproduct of your mind. Feelings are the language of your body. And when they come together, what comes out is an emotion. Emotion is your energy in motion. The FTBA theory, which is feelings, thoughts, behavior, and action, under the umbrella of CBT, which is cognitive behavior theory. So if you don't know how to emotionally regulate yourself, the action is not in your hands. Because then those actions will give you a result which you will not like. So why not nip it in the bud?
When we talk about shadow work, could you give some tips on what could be done for us to recognize that there are these shadows that need healing, and then to progress with the healing?
The word shadow is that repressed aspect of us, or that repressed emotion in us, which we have very collectively and consciously swept under the carpet. It's like I may broom my floor every day or my home every day, and I have nowhere to throw that dirt. So what I do is I start shoving it under the carpet. What's going to happen is one day that carpet is going to become so heavy and so dirty that I would have to open it up and clean it. And that cleaning is going to cause me more stress, more trauma, and more all the more sufferings. It's just a homework your soul does in order to free you from being a victim anymore. There are a lot of shadow work journals which are available. So they are available at Neom Soul as well.
So we are back after the break. What we're going to do now is the first thing that comes to your head when you look at the girls.
Yeah, that's called aura analyzation.
So before we do that, can you give a little bit of an idea of what aura analyzation is?
All of us carry an aura. So because we don't have one physical body, we've got 7 bodies. Yes. 7 bodies, yes. This is just our physical body. There is something called as a causal body, etheric body, psychological body, ego body, auric body. So there are different energy centers, which like how we have the 7 main energy centers in our body. The same way, we have 7 different bodies. And our auric radius goes up to 6.7 kilometers. When our radius, it goes up to 6.7 kilometers, which is huge. It's like unfathomable.
So if I come near you and I have an interaction with you, then part of your auric field is going to do something to my auric field, and then it's going to leave an imprint, and then I'm going to carry some of your energy with me?
Well, if your auric field is open and you are more susceptible to catching other people's, like I do so much of healing work but I know how to shut my auric field, or I know where to draw a line or a boundary. So again, see, that goes back to your childhood. What's your childhood like? How are you brought up? What is it that is the conditioning of your parents? What are your life circumstances? That all decides, all of these very, very peculiar factors about who you are. Like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, that your personality is nothing but your personal reality. So your personal reality is determined from, in specific, the first 21 years of your life, 18 to 21 years of your life. So if someone, just supplementing this with an example, if someone has been abused, someone has seen their parents fight, someone is always lived in fear, their auric field is more susceptible to catching fear, negativity, and the bad vibrations and the negativity of other people, because that is what is familiar to them. So, and the body always recognizes what is familiar to it, right? Because the body is always there to protect you.
Do you see colors? Do you hear voices? Is it a feeling that you get? What is it?
It's actually, I've never seen colors because I don't use a machine or an instrument to gauge a color. I understand what the colors are, what green means, what. So many people have asked me this question. I said, don't ask me how I know. There are 3 girls who came to me at the market shop last year. And they tried to ask me about analyzing their energy and, what I feel. And I did tap into one girl, like how I connected with Charmi here.
Yeah.
I did tap into one girl's energy. And, she asked me a question. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not connecting. And she left the market shop. I ran behind her. I don't know what happened. Something told me to do that. I ran behind her, literally ran behind her. And I said, leave that job. Otherwise, your boss will fire you within the next 1 month. So she did not understand what I said, or she did not listen to it. She got fired on the 29th day of her job.
No way.
Yes.
What do you see from the girls over here?
Let's talk about Twinkle, right? Yeah, Twinkle. So you, again, are a woman of very few words. I'm not saying that you don't trust people, but when you don't trust at all. But when you trust, the person has to prove their worth in order for them to trust you, right? Your relationship with yourself for the first, I think, about 16 or 18 years has been very up and down. Extremely up and down. Like it's been, you've taken a while to understand exactly what you need in your life. You probably know it, but for you to put that into action, you've taken a while, And you also are somebody who, if you love wholeheartedly. You're an extremist. It's either 0 or 100 for you, right? And you don't believe in something called as mediocre. You are everything which is luxury. You love everything which is grand, and you also have how do I mention this to you? You have a very, very selective idea about, or a very precise idea about what kind of person you want to be with.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people say such people may call you choosy, but you're not choosy. That's a conscious choice you are making because you know who you are now, right? Yeah. All right, good. So, tell me about your relationship with your father and your mother.
It's not problematic. Nothing. We have a good relationship. But I wouldn't say I'm like super close to them where I feel like, oh my God, whatever happens. I mean, I think logically.
Mom still, dad no.
I think, I don't know how to explain it. But in general, I tend to think that, okay, I have to take care of myself.
Yeah.
Like I can
not that I can only rely on myself, but I feel like if anything, I have to have my back.
Right. You have accountability. It's called self accountability. And that's why I said for the first few years, that self accountability took a toll on you because you're also growing as time is progressing. And you are a young girl in her 20s. So you are around your solar plexus and your heart chakra age, So, but let me also tell you, if somebody does you wrong, you will not take a second to get that person out. But I'm not completed yet. But if you love that person, you would still leave a bit of the door open for him or her.
Yeah, I think that is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So more or less, I think, I like your aura. It's pretty strong. And you're very, very headstrong. You're a very, are you a earth or a fire sign?
I'm actually a water sign.
Water sign, okay.
Yeah.
You're a water sign. But maybe some of your descendant or ascendant could be earth or fire. Because your self-determination is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Once you decide, you decide. But if you're indecisive, then you stay there.
Yeah.
Or, it's just that way.
Yeah.
Coming to Anisha. Did I get your name right? Anisha, right? Okay, all right. So, Anisha. Anisha is basically, I'll be brutally honest because that's what I'm known for. You self-victimize yourself. You're a self-victim very subconsciously. Possibly you don't know that, but, you self-victimize yourself. You take your own sweet time to know people, understand people. You like to be in your shelter. Your relationship with your mom is strong?
Stronger than my dad? Yes.
Do you have a brother?
No, I have an older sister.
Okay. And is there any one masculine energy in your life who's very dominant or who you look up to?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, life is long. Not yet.
No, your
Yeah.
field is there, right?
Azra.
What you're talking about.
Okay, yes. I thought my family.
No. I'm talking about like anybody in your life. See, my third eye can never, ever catch something wrong. So there is somebody in your life. Yeah, that's what I tapped into. Who's pretty dominant and pretty like, he's a nice person. But he's a good soul, but depending on the relationship he has with his mother or the relationship the family he's brought up into and the kind of person he's become, because you remember I spoke about personality. It's your personal reality. So what's your personal reality, for the first 18 or 21 years of your life? I assume he's above 21 years. Yeah. So that actually goes a lot to speak about your character, your integrity. So I feel that this person is a very dominative figure in your life. He very subconsciously, very sweetly, not very, like somebody would say, I would not give you food. But somebody would say, well, I have only little. How do I share? Give you 10 other excuses, So it's like that subtle, sweet kind of energy. Tell me a little about your childhood, your relationship with your father, mother, and your sister as well.
I grown up, actually, my mom and dad, they love marriage.
Okay.
So we've seen them making love all the time. So I think as a family, we have grown up,
on love. The thesis has been love. Yeah. Affection, a lot of comfort. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's why your auric field is stable. But at the same time, you have a very, very open channel to getting misinterpreted or being misinterpreted by people. In the sense that what I'm trying to tell you in short or in one crisp sentence is that you're someone who doesn't know how to draw boundaries. You can take everything which is given to you, or even if your what you deserve is not given to you, you're okay with it. So you don't fight for yourself, or you don't stand up for yourself, or you don't set those boundaries for yourself. Am I right?
Yeah, kind of. I wouldn't completely agree, but then there are situations where I probably
Yeah, that's what I'm catching
up
a
for
point.
myself.
Yeah, you know, and even if you feel that you can stand up for yourself, or you should be standing up for yourself in situations, you do speak, but not when it's required. There is some fear. See, we all have fear. Okay, it takes a lot to be fearless, but you know, since we all are, fear is something. Again, a lot of people ask me that you know, how can I be fearless? Well, you can't be fearless. Fear is an integral part of your personality, just like love, just like you know, how you have happiness, bliss, joy. Fear is basically governed by your subconscious mind. It's a part of your ego, so it ain't going anywhere, right? But how much of it you use is what decides what kind of a person you are, or it decides your personality, right? So fear is something which is never going anywhere. But to operate out of fear just because you've been conditioned that way is something which we need to avoid. And in fact, you need to avoid. Maybe you don't know about it, but think about it. Thanks, Anisha. Yeah, this is just a snippet. Like, you know, it's just probably 1% of what I can tap into, because the actual session is about 3.5 hours long.
Yeah. And then it's up to them to decide if it resonates with them and they want to make a change or not.
Correct.
Based on what has been read.
Correct.
Are these the oracle cards
Yes.
down here?
I have a couple of them here. I've been told, there's a disclaimer, I'm not sure, but I've been told by most of the people who I meet at the market, in my market shop, that I'm the only psychic in UAE who reads from 62 oracle card decks.
She, I didn't even know those many oracle cards.
Yeah, there are more than 1,000. Beauty about oracle cards, Tanya, is that unlike tarot, they are all different. All tarot card decks have the same, set of cards, some 78 cards. And each oracle card is different from tarot, because tarot cards don't come with a guidebook. Oracle cards come with the guidebook and a set of questions. Right. If you come to me for the first time, I will lay out 5 or 6 oracle card decks. I'm just a medium to read them. You choose your card deck, I'll read out the questions, and then you choose your card.
What do you mean by you'll read out the questions?
Now, each oracle card deck, we'll do a demo. Each oracle card deck has a set of 5 or 6 or 7 questions. So I have formats of card reading. Some people generally people do a 6-card reading, which includes meditation. It includes whatever we spoke about, inner child healing, shadow work, chakras, everything. Now, at the end of the session, after meditation, I will read out the questions from the oracle card deck, all 5 or 6 of them. You are going to decide which oracle card are you going to choose for the questions you need an answer for.
Right.
The whole thesis or analysis of this is, I can't eat food because your stomach is hungry on your behalf, right? So if you're hungry, you're going to eat food for your stomach. The same way, if your soul needs an answer and if you need to know, you are the one who's going to choose the card deck and you are the one who's going to choose the card. I'm a medium to read them. And you will be amazed at the kind of answers you get from those card decks.
Oh, that's interesting.
They're an extension to your own soul energy.
So if someone has to do this at home, because I've considered doing oracle card and things like that at home, how do we learn it?
You know, doing oracle cards or card reading is just like swimming and driving. The more you practice it, the better you get.
But every card, I mean, because, when I try to get these cards too, every card looks different. Mm-hmm. It's not like the chessboard where there is a king, queen and the soldier.
They all look different. That's the beauty of it. right? So even at the market shop, I have at least 20-25 card decks. Now, what happens is on each oracle card, I'll give you an example. I have one here. Each oracle card at the back has a synopsis of what the card is all about. Okay, so suppose if Tanya comes to my shop and she's interested, the name itself is interesting, Shadow and Light. And if she wants to, this is pretty interesting. If she wants to understand the yin and yang of her, the shadow and light of her, if she wants brutally honest answers from her soul, she's going to pick this card deck.
We have to do an oracle card.
Sure.
Which deck would you pick based on the collective in the room?
In fact, I don't want to pick a card deck for them. Let them pick up. Let's lay out 3 card decks and let's see which one they pick up out of choice, right?
Okay. So girls, come here.
Come. You're in a relationship with someone?
Me?
No.
No.
Okay. Wait till November. My God.
Navek. Bari. What about my sister? What's her wrong? Don't do anything about me. I don't want to know mine.
Why I? That's why you call everyone, you ask it. Can you?
No, don't do anything about. Don't do, no need.
These are the decks that we have, and we are going to pick one from here. Or, there is Inner Peace and then
Unshakable Inner Peace Oracle cards, Mystical Healing Reading cards, and Shadow and Light Oracle. All of these three are shadow work cards. Now, what they would tell you is, or bring to the forefront is that those aspects, suppressed or repressed, which probably your soul knows through your intuition, you're not listening to them, or you need to know for you to grow, thrive, and ascend from where you are. Charmi, if you see all 3 of them visually, which one is calling out to you? This one. All right. Mystical healing. What about you, Twinkle?
Maybe that.
Maybe this one. The Unshakable Inner Peace cards. Amazing. So maybe you are in search of that inner peace. Not that you're not peaceful, but there is something which is lingering subconsciously at the back of your mind you need an answer for. Just pull out one card. Since you are very, very attracted to this card deck, I'll put the other 2 by the side. We're going to shuffle them. Just like a quick random shuffle. And let's see which one is calling you. Just look at all the cards and intuitively. Now, what I do is normally I tell the person who needs a reading to rub both of their palms. Now, why rub both of their palms? The center of our palms which is directly connected to our soul. So if you need a reading or if you need a soul answer, so rub both of your palms vigorously well. Just generate some energy and friction and make them like, how you touch a ball, like a ball size. Yeah, just like this. Yeah, like this. And which is connection of your yin and yang, the shadow and light, the good and bad, the man and the feminine. So, and then if you are a right-hander, use the center of your right hand and then scan the cards. When you're scanning the cards, some cards may feel cold, some may feel jumpy, some may feel warm. Intuitively pull out one card. Let's do it. Connect with them, see what's calling you. You can look at them as well. Wow. Yeah, that one you touched and it just pulled towards you, right? Okay. The card you have pulled out is take positive action. Maybe you are procrastinating something. Your energy knows that this is not good for you or it's not good for your soul. She has a big giggle on her face. And, you're still not taking any positive action towards it. Because, we feel, it's not harming me. It's not doing me any bad. It's okay. It's fine. Nobody's perfect or nothing is always as it should be. That kind of an attitude.
No, yeah, that's absolutely right. About prioritizing, my mental, because I'm always thinking about others sexually and everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. You put yourself the last. Yes. Don't have boundaries. Yeah. You need a session.
Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, you can do the same exercise. Rub both of your palms, generate friction, and then pull out one card.
Let's do what? Don't like that.
Just bond them together like this, because you're connecting the right side to the left.
Okay.
The card you have pulled out is rise above it. It's not for yours to carry. You are an empath. I told you this, didn't I? In another word, but I just told you this. How can you detach from the drama? Now, that drama could be any drama. It doesn't have to be dramatic. That could be your own misalignment. That's also drama. That could be that you are into something which is not helping you grow, thrive, or ascend. That could also be a drama. You are a natural empath. If people turn for you to advice or for advice, you tend to have a soothing effect on others. When you are around them, you have drawn this card because many of your overwhelming feelings which you have been experiencing of late are not yours. They're picked up energies. Okay? You have been picking up energy from others and transmuting it. So you're becoming a medium in a way. As an empath, it is your gift to the world. You help by healing and by taking on others' pain. But it harms you if you don't know how to work with your own energy. Give yourself time to rest without judging yourself. You judge yourself a lot. You do, subconsciously. Release this pressure and instead listen to your own body. Then you can care for others, but first you must care for yourself. Yeah, I'm going to send you these cards. Drop in your number or your Instagram. I'm going to send it to you. And any point in time you need any reference, you can always go back to them. This is a bit of what I have read, but this is like a 2 or 3 page entire meaning. So, you can read it in depth. It's like a guidebook for you or for your circumstances. Let's pull out a card for you, my dear Anisha. I knock it, which means warding off the old energy. Resetting it. You'll be very amazed, Tanya, if I tell you, in my 18 years of card readings, over 5,500 sessions, I have never ever pulled a card for myself. Ever. Yeah, this is because, it's just that I tell people when you know it, you know it. Then you... Nice. Everything is a reflection. Hold up the energetic mirror. What you need in your life that you are not currently getting. It's 11, which means new beginnings. Is it asking you for a new beginning to something? So it's a shadow work question, that everything being a reflection, right? Everything is a reflection, isn't it? What people tell me that he triggered me or she triggered me. I said, What is that unhealed version of you which got triggered because of something which is told to you or done to you? Which means you need to heal first. You can never pour from an empty cup, can you? Everything is a reflection. I'm a reflection of you. We all are a part of one united consciousness or one consciousness, right? So I am the wood. The wood is the card deck. The card deck is you. Your hair is similar to the poof you're sitting on. So everything is one, living or non-living. And specifically living, it becomes all the more same frequency and vibration. This was once living, right? So it has a memory of a frequency and vibration. Your card says often sometimes some events, trauma, unhealed pain from our past will get stored in our body's memory. You may not recall the event on a conscious level, but subconscious always remembers because it's 95% of your mind. This is why we get triggered. You may experience or be experiencing a strong emotional reaction of fear, shock, anger, or worry. It could also be that you're remembering some past event. Trauma protects itself from pain by creating a false identity. If you were hurt in your past, it's just an example, your ego will create a perception to help you protect from ever having to feel that pain again. That's why, I asked Charmi, why does she want to go back to someone if there was pain? I'll tell you why. Because it's familiar. The body will always go back to familiar. It's like I rather deal with one known donkey rather than knowing an unknown monkey. Isn't it? For example, if you were told to be quiet and that you were too much as a child, just an example, you may feel as if you need to hold back or are ashamed to speak up. That's where the throat chakra blocks. And in order to fit in, you must avoid speaking. This creates discord and dishonesty within yourself. So you have pulled this card today because you're experiencing part of your past trauma that you have been buried. Look at what is triggering you and causing you distress. Look at that. Hold up the energetic mirror and ask yourself, how is this particular incident, particular person showing me what I need to heal within myself? Most welcome. I hope it resonates. Twinkle, you're laughing. You're laughing that you're tearing up. Oh my God. The monkey and donkey was too good. You need to understand that life happens for you and not to you.
Love it. I think this was a wonderful, wonderful conversation. In fact, one of the first times that I've done an in-person event, we did oracle card reading, aura reading. Have you guys done anything like this before? No. So this is the first time. This was super, super duper fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, girls, for being here. And thank you, Tanya. I really appreciate it. God bless you for the work you're doing. May you rise, shine, and prosper always.
Thank you so much.